Hello everyone, my name's Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course the law of attraction. Today I am going to be sharing with you 5 psychic signs that you're on someone's mind. How to know if you're in their head. Have you ever been thinking about someone and then 2 seconds later you look at your phone and they're calling you? What about when you're wondering how an old friend is that you haven't seen in months or maybe even years, and then you run into them at the grocery store the next week? These are not coincidences. In fact, as I often say, there are no coincidences in the entire universe. You could think of these moments as little psychic downloads from this person. Perhaps they have a desire to connect with you or have a certain important conversation with you, or maybe it's just a sign that they've been thinking about you a lot. In this video, I'm going to be sharing the 5 most commonly experienced signs that someone is thinking of you, the things that we most often experience in our lives when someone else is frequently thinking about us. First of all, I think we need to start with a basis of how it's possible to sense that someone is thinking about us in the first place. As I've said in previous posts on my blog and videos, we are all extremely connected. We as humankind are one giant web of consciousness. And everything that one of us thinks sends out a vibration to every other person on this planet. And if we are conscious, we are able to pick up on these vibrations from other people, and they manifest themselves sometimes in certain ways in our lives. We often refer to this as intuition, when we just know something about a person without knowing why. In this same way, we can use this psychic intuition to determine when someone is thinking of us. The first thing that you might experience when someone is thinking about you is something that occurs in your dream state. When someone is thinking of you, you might find yourself dreaming about them. Now, of course, it's possible to dream about someone who isn't thinking about you, so it can be a little tricky to determine whether your dreams about this person are coming from your own subconscious mind or even your own conscious thoughts, or if it's a sign that this person is thinking about you, and in your dream state of total lack of resistance, you are picking up on this vibration from them, and it's manifesting in your dreams. There are a few ways to know the difference. Let's say that you are thinking about someone all the time, like a crush or a lover. Well, then it's natural that you dream about them because your brain has formed these subconscious habits of thought around this person. However, if you find yourself dreaming about someone that you really haven't been consciously thinking of at all, and yet you find yourself dreaming of them over and over and over again, this is a pretty clear indication that this person has been thinking about you so much that they have quite literally implanted themselves upon your subconscious mind. It's like this person is sending a mental message to you, and you are sensing it and manifesting it by seeing them in your dreams. Sometimes, though, this dream state can get a little more interesting. Sometimes you could experience what I refer to as dream stalking, which is when someone is thinking of you so much that they appear in the background of your dreams. They essentially enter your dreams. Now, if you're interested, I could make a video on how to enter someone else's dreams, which would be an interesting topic to talk about. However, this is a strange feeling because how dream stalking feels is you might be having a dream about something completely unrelated to this person, but you find that their face is always there in the background. Let's say that you dream you're at a coffee shop. Well, in this scenario, that person could be sitting in a different part of the coffee shop, not talking to you, but just there. You will feel as if this person is always just there in your dreams. And again, this happens when you aren't really thinking about them actively throughout the day. This is a very clear sign that this person has been thinking about you or has something that they would like to tell you or discuss with you. Sign number 2. This may be a little counterintuitive, but you can't stop thinking about them. It sounds a little backwards, and again, like the first sign, it's a little tricky, so you have to be careful with interpreting it. If, like I said before, you have a crush on someone or you are actively thinking about someone, then of course you're not going to be able to stop thinking about them because we establish habits of thought. We are creatures of habit, and this especially plays out in our minds. When we get stuck on a certain thought or idea or person, it tends to play out over and over in our thoughts, in our dreams, and eventually in our realities. However, if someone seems to always be popping into your mind that you are not actively thinking about, that you don't actively have some kind of emotion towards, it could be a stranger that you passed on the street. It could be a waiter at a restaurant. It could be a friend that you haven't spoken to in years. If you find that they are constantly popping into your mind at all the most random times when you're doing something completely unrelated to them, that is a very telling sign that you are on their mind, and that when their face or name is popping into your mind, it's actually, you could think of it like them sending you an energetic text message. It's like you're hearing the energetic ping of a text message that they're sending you with their mind. Sign number 3 is that if someone is thinking about you, you may begin to see their name everywhere. And if not their name, then things related to them that immediately make you think of them. You could think of these like little notes from the universe telling you, hey, this person has been thinking about you a lot. It's like sending someone a card, one of those cards that say thinking of you, except it might be in the form of seeing their name on a billboard or seeing their, favorite food. If it's like a unique, weird food that you always associate with them, seeing it, on a menu. Or maybe you hear about their particular small town on the news randomly, and it's some kind of obscure city that you never hear on the news. These are just a few small examples, but you get the point. It could be any range of things, anything that is specifically tied to them that inevitably makes you think of them. Sign number 4. When someone is thinking about you, and especially when they want to have a certain conversation with you or tell you something, you will feel a strong and sudden urge to contact them. Again, like with many of these signs, this can also be used in the reverse. You can essentially manifest someone texting you or calling you through the power of the mind. And I could make another post and video about that if you're interested. Needless to say, when you feel a very strong urge to connect with someone, especially someone that you're not actively thinking about, and especially someone that you don't normally talk to or contact, this is a very strong sign that the person is energetically asking you to call them or text them because they have something that they'd like to discuss with you, or perhaps they've just been thinking about you a lot and they want to connect with you again. And finally, sign number 5. This is the most obvious sign that someone is thinking of you. And it's that your paths will begin to cross more frequently, and sometimes in the most random and surprising ways. As an example, you might meet someone one day at a restaurant, and the next week you happen to be walking down the exact same aisle in a grocery store at the same time. This might seem like a coincidence, but think about it logically. What are the odds that you and that person would be at the same store at the same time, especially if you had never seen each other before meeting? Say you lived in the same city, but you never saw each other. Think of all the years, the months and years that passed, that as far as you know, your paths never crossed in that city. And then you meet, and all of a sudden, the next week, you're seeing them. And then maybe the week after that, you're seeing them again. Obviously, the more frequently your paths cross, the more telling this sign is, the more obvious it is that you must be on this person's mind. Another way to look at it is they, whether consciously or unconsciously, are manifesting these meetings with you because they are thinking about you. That's kind of a law of attraction perspective to take. And just like I've said with previous signs in the reverse, you could manifest meeting or seeing a specific person through the power of your own mind as well. So there you have it. Those are 5 psychic signs that you're in someone's head. Now, I will close by saying that the most powerful sign of all, the one that kind of runs through interpreting each of these 5 signs, is your own intuition. There is a place in your soul that knows the answer to this and to all things. We often hear intuition as a whisper. But if you can learn to listen to that whisper inside of you, you can know with ease whether these signs are simply your own conscious mind thinking about the person, or whether they are thinking about you. So I invite you to begin to tune in more closely to your own intuitive forces, to your own psychic abilities, so to speak, because we all have these psychic abilities simply because we are all so connected to one another. If you'd like to learn how to get into someone else's head, how to essentially manifest these signs in the reverse, so that someone is thinking about you constantly, dreaming about you, seeing signs of you everywhere, and having the urge to contact you, know that you have the power to do this, just as you have the power to manifest anything or anyone. The art of getting into someone else's head, especially in a romantic context, is often called remote seduction. So I will leave links to information about remote seduction below. I have written a blog post and created a podcast on this subject. And if you're ready to master the art of remote seduction, I've also created an ebook and a complete printable toolkit that you can use to powerfully manifest any romantic partner in your life in 30 days or less. That will be linked below. I would also like to say that I have been in the process of creating law of attraction printable products. Many of these will be free to download, free tools and resources that you can use to manifest everything and anything that you desire in your life, to tap into your own creative power, your innate creative ability as a human being. I am so excited about all the things to come for this channel, for my blog, and for this printables store. I already have a few free resources there, as well as my ebook, so you can check all of those out by looking in the description box below. If my message resonates with you, then I hope you'll consider subscribing to this channel. I know that this community is small right now, but I hope to kindle this small flame into a wildfire that will inspire millions of people around the world to tap into their own creative ability. I know there are many of you out there, light workers, starseeds, people on this spiritual awakening journey who resonate with this message, and I hope you'll join this community so we can build something here together, a place for like-minded spiritual beings to refuel our creative power, to find tools and resources to assist us along this journey. Thank you for listening to my thoughts here, and happy manifesting. I'll see you again in the next video.